Hi guys, it's Kenzie. Welcome to my mini living room makeover and Christmas decorate with me. If you've been around recently, you've probably noticed a pretty big change in our living room. We recently completely tore down and redid our fireplace, and I'll explain why we did it and quickly go over the process of how we made our new Venetian plaster fireplace in this video, which was actually completely free to do for us. I'm also going to be decorating here in the living room for Christmas, and I'm going to be finishing off the Christmas decor in our entryway too. I'll show you how I put up the garland on my banister in literally less than 5 minutes using the easiest trick ever, and we're just gonna finish decorating this whole middle floor. So hopefully we can actually sit back and relax this Christmas season in our newly remodeled home. So let's get started. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You guys have probably seen a pretty big change in here, and it's this fireplace. A few months ago, I showed you how I DIY'd this faux brick in my fireplace, and although it was a great DIY on a budget, it just was not for me. I didn't think this brick matched the style of our home like I pictured it would, and to be honest, I started to hate it more and more every day. So once our kitchen renovation was almost complete, I realized the fireplace was just not matching at all, and it was just totally taking away from our beautiful kitchen that we worked so hard on. The brick was too busy for our taste, so we wanted to change it to something a little bit more minimal and timeless. I decided to do the same thing I did for our range hood to tie the two rooms together and to make the house feel a little bit more cohesive. We tore off all the brick and covered the original shiplap with joint compound, filled in all the lines, and did layers and layers of this until it was smooth over the shiplap lines. I put corner bead on the corners to give it a more seamless look, and I covered that with even more drywall mud until you couldn't see the corner bead exposed through the putty at all. Once the joint compound layers were dry, I sanded it very lightly to make it even more smooth for our plaster to go on top. And for our plaster, I'm making my own Venetian plaster for this, and I'm using the same recipe as I did for the range hood that we made. I have an in-depth tutorial in one of my kitchen makeover videos of how I made the Venetian plaster and applied it, so I won't go into too much detail here, but I'll be sure to leave the plaster recipe and the link to that video down below so you guys can check that out if you're interested. But I love the subtle tones you can see throughout the plaster, and I love how it turned out. Very simple and not something I'm gonna get sick of, which is exactly what I needed for this room. Now that the fireplace is done, it's time to start turning this room into a Christmas wonderland. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I painted the walls to the side of the fireplace and the cabinets the same color as the cabinets in the kitchen. So everything really matches with each other, and I definitely prefer it this way. So anyways, we are putting up our Christmas tree now. I absolutely love our tree, you guys. We've had it for years, and it's so affordable. It's an aspen fir tree, and to me it looks very realistic, especially after you fluff it out a little. It's one of those style trees that has some sparse branches, but it also looks very full at the same time. Some of the outer leaves stick out a little bit more than the others, so you can see the air and the space through the leaves, giving it a more whimsical look, and that is just totally my style. I will, of course, have it linked down below for you guys. I've seen it on Amazon, Walmart, I've seen it everywhere, so I'll leave it down below. Now we're gonna put our ornaments together. So I saw Evelyn made these beautiful clear ornaments with flowers in them, and I just love how dainty and pretty it looked. So I decided to incorporate that into my tree this year too. Thank you, Ev, for the idea. It is genius, but I am using some clear ornaments that I got from Hobby Lobby and just putting some Burgundy's Baby's Breath in them. And I'm also doing the same thing with some white dried stems that I had as well. And then I'm just topping it with some velvet ribbon. And I'm also putting some velvet ribbon on the velvet ornaments that I have, and I'm just trying to match the ribbon color to the ornament as well as I can. I got these ribbons from Hobby Lobby in the fabric section, not the Christmas ribbon section. I thought I would tell you that to save you walking around the store for 30 minutes looking for them, just like I did. Now we're gonna move on to this floating shelf area. I really wanted to go for a more minimal look this year because we have so much going on with the mantle you'll see in a minute and the Christmas tree. So I didn't want to make these shelves look too cluttered. So I'm just getting this brown distressed vase that I got from Hobby Lobby and I'm sticking some cedar stems in it. Then I just put some gold reindeer that I got from Pottery Barn in front of this arrangement. And on the other side, I'm just using a little lamp to add some lighting and a candle because we are always lighting candles. So it's just another pretty and practical decor piece. Every year, I always want to decorate with houses for Christmas, but I never know how to. So I bring them out, but I never actually end up incorporating them in my decor. So I knew that this year I really wanted to incorporate them somehow. So I came up with the idea to have them all lined out on a row on just one of my shelves. And I layered the different houses every other one. And I just kind of staggered them to the front and to the back to give it a little bit more dimension. I love how simple this turned out. For the top shelf, I am using this print that I printed off of Etsy. And I just put double-sided tape on the back and put it on top of a frame that I already had. And then I'm also going to layer it with a different shaped frame. This is just a picture of my family that I love, and it just adds a little personal touch to these shelves. And I'm also going to just add a jug and a little wax Christmas tree candle, LED candle light up thing right next to it. And those are the shelves. I love how simple they are. Still, definitely it says Christmas, but it's neutral and not too much at the same time. Now moving on to our mantle. I'm so excited to decorate this fireplace now that it is not brick. I was just not feeling the brick at all, you guys. This is just so much more our style, so much more timeless, and I'm just figuring out that less is more for me. So we are loving this fireplace, but I'm doing a little drooping effect with my garland. I'm just using command hooks to actually hook the garland onto the mantle. And I just kind of draped the garland over the mantle until I liked how it looked. I only used one garland for this mantle. This is the cedar garland from Hobby Lobby. I talked about this in one of my haul videos this year, and it is just absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. The best garland I've ever had. I only needed one for this mantle. Last year I used the Norfolk pine and I needed like 4 or 5 to cover the mantle. So one is enough, and I love the full yet wispy look of each leaf, and it is just giving. I love the way the mantle turned out. I also paired some stockings on the right hand side, and I just layered some brown and cream ones using every other one. I have a lot of dark brown accents this year in my Christmas decor, so these stockings are perfect for that. I wanted to bring some Christmas to the floor area, so I decided to get this bowl and use it as a planter. So I'm just getting a pre-made little tree that I got from Hobby Lobby a few years ago, putting it in this bowl and just filling it with some pine cones and bells, putting it on top of this wooden stool that I had so it can kind of act as a little plant stand. And I'm just placing it in front of the fireplace just to fill this little corner gap and to kind of bring the Christmas down to the floor a little bit to make the space feel a lot more balanced. I also decided to add some gold pomegranates to the top where my stockings are, just to finish off the look a little bit and to add that pop of gold. There's a lot of gold in my kitchen, so this needed some more gold over here. So these pomegranates just looked perfect and fit perfectly on this mantle. I put this little gingerbread guy that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then I just DIY'd him to make him a little bit more neutral. I took off his buttons and I just replaced it with some velvet fabric, and then I also just tied a velvet bow around him as well. I love the cute vibe that he gives, but I also love how he's neutral as well. I have so many pops of gingerbread here and there, so I knew I needed a pillow of some sort, and he just goes perfectly. I decided to make a little swag out of some cedar stems that I got from Hobby Lobby, paired with some juniper stems from Amazon, and I just put those 4 together and then tied it with a bow and then stuck it on my mirror with a command hook, and it just gave that little pop of Christmas that little area needed, but it doesn't take away from the garland at all. I thought if I were to put a whole garland on that mirror, it would be too much and kind of take away from the garland on the mantle. So I think that little swag there is a perfect amount of Christmas. We have already decorated the dining room and the kitchen in previous videos, so I will leave those down below if you want to check those out. But let's move on to the entryway area. Our entryway is very narrow and long, so it's always a challenge for me to decorate this area. There's definitely not enough room for a bench or a console table or anything like that. So I like to just utilize the walls for all of my decor. So that is what we're doing. I'm gonna start by putting this knit stocking on these hooks over here. I wanted to add a little bit more texture to this space, and I think the cream knit stockings really match the stockings in the other room, so it just makes it feel a lot more cohesive. Then I'm using a juniper stem to stuff it with and some rustic bells as well. On this side, we have a little mirror, so I'm gonna dress this up with a garland. I'm using the Norfolk garland that I got last year for this because that's just the one that I had left over, and I just don't like it. I really don't like it as much as I like the cedar one from Hobby Lobby. The Norfolk is definitely a big hit, but it just looks, I don't know, raggedy to me. It looks like I needs a hairbrush or something. You know what I'm saying? It's much harder to work with in my opinion, but this is what I had, so we decided to use it for now. And I'm just draping this over my mirror halfway, and then on one side I'm putting a little bow in. We actually ended up using a nail gun to put this garland in with the tiniest little nails, and it worked so well. We originally tried command hooks, but we were definitely struggling with those. They came off the walls, and the command hooks from last year tore off some of the drywall, and so we just used the smallest little nails and used a nail gun. But the nail gun was definitely the most efficient way. I thought I would mention that. If you guys are having trouble putting up your garland on a mirror or something like this, use a nail gun. Stick 1 or 2 nails in, you're good to go. I also added these woven bells to this hook on the side. We always use these hooks, so I wanted to keep at least 2 of them open, but I just thought these woven bells added a little bit more texture to this wall. Let's move on to the staircase, and here is the biggest tip that I have for you guys. When you're putting on garland on your staircase, use zip ties. It took me years to figure this out, and I wish I would have figured it out a lot sooner because it's so easy to put up. I seriously put up this garland on my railing in 5 minutes or less. I'm not even kidding you. All that I did was I attached 2 zip ties to each other because one probably won't fit around your entire railing. So I just attached 2 together and then just wrapped it around the little stem part of the garland. And then I hid the zip ties with this velvet ribbon. You can never even know that it's there. The velvet ribbon hides everything, and it also adds a little touch of something here and there, and it just looks so good. This garland was so easy and so fast to put up. I only needed 2 of these garland. It's the same one that I used on my mantle. I only needed 2 for the stairs, which is just crazy. Usually I need like 7. So definitely run to Hobby Lobby and try and look for this garland if you haven't already. I also added some bows to the end and some twinkle lights just to give it that, you know, magical moment, and we love it. I love how simple it is with just 1 piece of greenery, and I like how I didn't have to add a whole bunch of picks or anything. It was so simple and easy to put up. Zip ties, you guys, I'm telling you. Zip ties, and they're so easy to take down too. You just cut them and they're great. Now I'm gonna decorate this picture using a ribbon. So I definitely got this idea from Jenna. Jenna and Evelyn always give me the best ideas, but she wrapped a ribbon around one of her picture frames and it just looked beautiful. She did it vertical and horizontal, the ribbon in both ways. I didn't have enough ribbon for that, so I just did 1 ribbon on the top and called it good. Thank you, Jenna, for this idea. It is so cute and such a simple way to add some Christmas. I also added this wreath that I got from Target to the office doors, but I love how this wreath is half a wreath and there's not too much going on. I tried to put a full wreath there, but I just felt like it was a little bit too much with the stairs being there and everything. So I think that this wreath looks perfect here. And that is everything that I did for my entryway. I left it very minimal, but also very practical. We use these hooks on the wall, so I wanted to leave some of those open, but also add some decorations here and there because that is just who I am. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed how I transformed my fireplace and how I decorated this entire middle floor. If you missed the dining room and the kitchen, I will leave those videos down below so you can check those out. Thank you guys so much for being here. You are truly the best. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you. Definitely say hi in the comments too. I love to have chats with you guys. Have you started decorating for Christmas yet? Or do you normally do that after Thanksgiving? What kind of girly are you? Let me know in the comments. I would love to sit down and talk with you. So we will see you in a few days in a new video. You guys are the best. Bye.